This is a real comment, by the way, on the video. Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's been a while since I've been back. I was off for 3 days, as per usual. But we have a pretty packed schedule from here until roughly Christmas Eve. My wife and I are gone during Christmas for obvious reasons. It's Christmas. Kind of hard to be on live on air during Christmas. But we will have a Christmas theme stream the day before, so everyone gets a break during a Christmas. You really don't want me there during your Christmas celebration, okay? It's T minus 6 days until the jolly old man breaks into your home and you have to say thank you. It's kind of funny to think. Oh, hello, chat. It's kind of funny to think that the mythos of Christmas is that your home isn't sacred. It's literally it's just an old jolly old man breaking into your home, and you can do nothing about it. You just have to say thank you for whatever he leaves you. And if you're naughty, he just gives you coal. That's the best part. Is that like as time goes on and as technology evolves, Santa becomes more and more useless because we no longer need toys, bro. I'm playing Fortnite or VR chat or something. I no longer need a physical toy. I can get that off of Bad Dragon. Like it's not really necessary for me to have Santa. And so Amazon has invalidated Santa's whole, uh, raison d'etre, whatever the French phrase is pronounced. I know I'm Canadian, but like, listen, it's a hard knock life. At some point, I got enrolled into an experimental. I got enrolled into an experimental Canadian psyop. I'm not even kidding you. Where instead of learning French, we learned Mandarin. I don't really know why, but for 2 years they fucked me up. Okay. Um. Anyways, what I'm saying is, yeah, we just had to deal with somebody breaking into our home on Christmas time, and they'll leave you gifts. So hopefully Christmas time is good for all of you. We're gonna have streams up until Christmas Eve, and then a little bit during before New Year's. But I think my wife and I want to spend time together, and my buddies have some plans. So it's gonna be a fairly hectic holiday time. But I'm here to wish you all the best, and I'm here to wish you all that your lead up to the holidays is fun. If you don't celebrate Christmas, at least hopefully you get to celebrate at least you get the day off or something. I'm not really sure. If you're working overtime, God bless. You are keeping the world going. And you're also making hopefully a lot of bang for your buck because holiday pay usually goes up a crazy amount. So back when I had to work jobs that had holiday pay, they used to pay me a lot. What's funny is that tech workers in Canada were actually exempt from overtime because of a very flawed initiative to try to get us on par with America, which, as you can probably imagine, hasn't really worked out. So, sadly, I don't get that overtime pay anymore. But if I could, I wouldn't be here. And if I had a job. Anyways, we have some fun things for today, tomorrow, and a couple of days forward. So I got the schedule over in Discord. So I'm just going to read it to you. Today we're playing a game called My Side, which actually released recently. What's funny is that I played the demo a long time ago, and I thought that game was fantastic. And it finally released while I was gone. I was like, oh, yes. So I'm excited to play that. We're playing a lot of different dating games recently. And so we're going to take a break after we play that game by having a little virtual mukbang. I'm not going to explain what that means. I just hope that you enjoy this segment. And you're not going to understand what that means, okay? My guy. Why did you say my guy? I haven't heard somebody call me my guy in like years. I haven't heard someone say my guy in a long time. Tomorrow we'll be doing some the web fishing awards as well as a new fashion Friday. So I don't really know what to call it except for the Infinity Nikki lookbook. So again, if you want to play Infinity Nikki with the community and pit your outfit against everyone else, please do sign up for. Well, you don't even have to sign up. Just go to the Discord because there's a criteria there. You have to meet the various conditions that the judges, aka me, will judge you on. So be sure to check that out. I think you're going to enjoy it a lot, and I think you're gonna have a good time. Sorry, give me a second. I don't know what happened. And then on top of that, we have the day after. We're gonna finish up some YouTube games because apparently some YouTube games that exist. YouTube has their own game platform similar to Netflix, and I don't know why. And as well as some TBD random games. I'm still thinking of like which games to play on the day. So because I want to stick to like a certain theme, but you'll see it once we get there. You want to play Infinity Nikki? Sadly, it keeps crashing on your device. Wait, that's actually unfortunate. Hopefully, yeah, I did hear that there's a lot of different problems with the game, and I'm sure you've seen what happened to me, where I also had problems. Unfortunately, it seems like it's a very common thing to happen to most people. So yeah, that's unfortunate. You gay? Yeah, let me explain this. So before we continue with the rest of the schedule, whoever wrote this, whoever wrote this as a comment on my YouTube channel. Again, what's funny is that this was a comment. This was a comment on Path of Exile 2 Part 5. Oh man, sorry. I have to download something really quick. Let me just download this really quick in about 10 seconds. Wow, actually, even faster. 5 seconds. Wait. And we're good. Sorry, it was a small game update. Huh. But yeah, so yeah, this was a comment that someone left on my YouTube channel on Path of Exile Part 5. You cannot make this up, okay? That is the funniest thing I've ever seen. So to whoever wrote this, thank you and greetings from a top to a bottom. What's funny is that people said that I put a poll in my Discord, and 67% of you said that I was a power bottom, so baka. So thank you for that. And also somebody said only bottoms like feet. So thank you for that. Seems the game is not well optimized. It's not. Yeah, Infinity Nikki has the one problem where it's not really well optimized. It's playing on a lot of platforms, and I think it's one of the few Unreal Engine 5 games that isn't Fortnite that's on mobile. So, you know, understandably, they're dealing with a fair amount of things, but I was a bit upset about that too, where it didn't really work out too well. Now it makes sense. Yeah, so now it makes sense. Yeah, it's one of the few Unreal Engine 5 games, so it's sort of why the game is shitting the bed for most people. And also the way that they released it, they didn't release it with any like community dress-up contest, and I thought that was absurd. So that's why we're making our own Christmas-themed one. So again, if you can join, if you want to join, be sure to join the like Discord. You have to post screenshots of it because the game has no online multiplayer either. So that's the best I can have. The only friend that I have in the game is my mod, and it's like we can't play together. So I don't know why I have my mod in my friends list really. Oh, you meant it makes sense about the bottoms being into feet. Listen here, buddy. You want to figure out you the most about the comments? They ask top or bottom, but then assume my answer in the final line. Well, no, it's not that they assume my answer. That's what they wish for, right? That's a bottom mentality. A bottom mentality is that they automatically submit, and it's all about your viewpoint, right? Because you might say, because look, the bottom says that the top says that people assume. Wait, no, the middle. You're a middle. You are the you're the mythical Nintendo Switch, okay? You're a mythical Nintendo Switch who says that they're assuming my answer. The bottom perspective is that they submitted to me. The power top answer is that of course they would submit to me. You know what I mean? Of course. It's all about submission and domination. We all tops on the shoulders of bottoms. You know, you're not wrong, right? But a lot of the internet is made and defined by a bottoms being topped. Like I'm not gonna explain much more, but I will say a lot of technology is made by people who are bottomed or topped, and I salute them because without them, the internet wouldn't be the way that it is now. A centrist. Yeah, a centrist. I like to call them Nintendo Switches because of the whole Switch thing. It's like when RT Game made that joke about what like gay he was, and then he was like, "Well, in terms of game consoles, I'm a Nintendo Switch," and I was like, "Ooh, that's pretty good." Yeah, Unreal Engine is not mobile platform friendly for open world games. It really, yeah, it doesn't seem friendly at all. Even Fortnite, like I've seen my niece play, and it's not the best experience either. So, presumably, when you consider that like the company that made Unreal Engine can't really make it work 100%, how is a third party going to make it work as well? The answer is not well. So we're seeing the results of that now. So. The reason why you want to play Infinity Nikki is because of the Kato. You're a cat person. Wait, oh, Momo? Yeah, I do love Momo. You know what? I'm also sad that Momo doesn't have many costumes. I'm very sad that most of his costumes seem to be just like a robe. I thought he would be fully customizable, like hair color, fur color, paw color, put some gloves on him, right? I thought it was a full customization, but all the customization is on Nikki. To be fair, I think most people play to be Nikki, but I was hoping for more. I'm also sad that there's no skin tone slider. There's only 3 skin tones in general, and they're all 3 stars. And I think most people play to be Nikki, but I was hoping for more. I'm also sad that there's no skin tone slider. There's only 3 skin tones in general, and they're all 3 stars. And I don't know why they didn't just include like a slider for your skin tone. I'm not really sure why. I feel like that would have been a lot better. Yeah, Unreal Engine is not friendly. Period. Yeah, it's very unfriendly. I've talked about this before, right? It's very difficult to work with because there's so many different things that it does that's very unique to Unreal Engine. It's playing with next gen stuff and it's trying to push the boundaries. And in doing so, right, I think whenever you have to, whenever you have to like push the boundaries, there's no guarantee that it's going to work, and there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to teach people how to do it well. And so, from a developer standpoint, even just dealing with the very, very strange macro system that they have and trying to understand that, and then trying to work with the engine in a way that makes sense for it, when the documentation, admittedly, is extremely sparse. I think the documentation is very poor compared to something like Unity 3D. It ends up being a hassle working with it. The only thing that it has going for it is that if you know C++ well, you can read through the whole thing. Like it is effectively, the source is out there. The source is viewable once you just get and gain access to the dev side, which is just a sign up. Unity 3D, I don't think you can still gain access automatically. I think you have to contact them for like an enterprise license thing, and that's a whole process of like $100,000 or something plus. So it's kind of annoying. Momo is better than Paimon. Who's with me? I'm with you. Again, the only thing I wish is that you could dress Momo up more. That's my main issue with it. You're cautiously optimistic about Kunos dropping UE in favor of an in-house engine again for the next Assetto Corsa. Wait, they're dropping it? I mean, to be fair, I imagine most of their code for how the car is handled is probably done as like a separate library. Because I highly doubt they're doing much of the calculations with whatever framework Unreal Engine provides you. They're probably just doing calls out to their actual library, and then they just. I'm assuming from there they probably kept on doing it so much that hopefully they don't really rely on the engine for anything more than the graphics, right? Because that's how I would do it. If I had a game as complex as Assetto Corsa, not to say that it's super complex, but the way that it handles the car handling and the stuff feels very complex when we did play it. I would just do that stuff on my own and then just find ways to hook it into the game engine instead of doing everything within the game engine's like code framework of the components or even like game systems and like stuff. And then it's like, boom, it feels easier just to switch. But again, yeah, it is a bit unsettling because it's like, I feel like a lot of the value of the game is also within the very high quality, high fidelity graphics, which is not an easy task to do. Like graphics programming, anytime I've tried to dip my toes into it, has always been a huge headache. You need so much of a math background to get through it. Like, you really need to be good at it. First, I said it was in-house. I said the Corsa Competizione was UE, and the new one is in-house. Yeah, I mean, hopefully it does work out, but I'm also a bit worried. Plus, when you switch engines too, right, there's always that cost of switching the engine, which is like, you now need to rework everything, and you don't know what you need to rework until you do it, because like there's no way someone has 100% view, especially of like a larger project, right? So it's always a matter of like how long is it going to take, and what's going to happen when they do it. On the bright side, there's sort of again, I talked about before, but the commodification of like a game engine, where the more people that use the same game engine, the more experts you can find on it, whether or not they're actual experts or not. Hopefully they are. And then you can basically rely on their existing knowledge from other places to work with it. But who knows? It's sort of why it's interesting that CD Projekt Red is going the opposite way. They're going from the Red engine, which admittedly I think now is probably the best looking engine on the market compared to even like UE stuff, just because of how much they've pushed the NVIDIA ray tracing stuff to like with the overkill mode and the stuff. And then moving from that to UE, which is interesting because I don't really know what that's going to do, considering that they've built everything off of the Red engine. So every engine move to me, yeah, it is a bit. It's a bit concerning. Unity is so optimized on every platform, even on mobile. Any mobile games made from Unity are good looking. Yeah, or at least they run fairly well, like as a baseline, because it's like their built-in support. But at least exactly in like theory, yeah, because you have a million ways to drop the ball on performance, but at least as a baseline, if you do nothing at all, at least it works well. With Unreal Engine, I know that there's a lot that you have to do to make it work at all on mobile. Godot, I don't think it still works on mobile at all. I know the web build for Godot is broken. Like it's Unity still is probably the easiest way to get onto every platform that you want. But again, yeah, it's all down to your skill. Except the cringe and fake ads games. I mean, that's just. I will say this: if people weren't so afraid of C++, like if C++ wasn't, if C Sharp didn't exist and we only had C++, you would see those same games within Unreal Engine. 100%. It's just because C++ genuinely is a terrifying language to learn. There's a lot to do in the language where you can blast your foot open. C Sharp is an admittedly much simpler language in the right ways that really simplifies down how you think about things, at the cost of it, being less controllable. But most people don't need that control, especially for a game where everything is already being controlled by a larger system that handles life cycles and the stuff for you, or lifetimes. So there's no need for you to even like do that stuff for the most part. So even Unreal Engine, like it handles lifetimes for you. Like you never really use the control that you have with C++ to really do much at all, unless you do like fully custom systems in it. Otherwise, you're just using whatever they've done in Unreal Engine, and then you have to deal with the fact that it's C++, which has a whole mess of just the way that it handled pointers alone up until I think 5 point something, until they added their own built-in pointer type, which mostly replicated the smart pointers in C++. It was kind of a hassle. Modevs moving to UE5, which they're now banning their own game engine, which more games will be feels the same. I don't think so. I don't think they'll feel the same. I think you fundamentally have a misunderstanding of what makes a game feel like something. The larger devs that are moving to it, they're gonna like you wouldn't even be able to tell if there wasn't a news blurb about what engine, say, The Witcher 3 was on. People would have said that was Unreal Engine. If there wasn't a news blurb about what Cyberpunk 2077 was made on, you wouldn't even know that it was on the Red Engine. You wouldn't even know that both engines for Witcher 1 and Cyberpunk 2077 are from the same lineage of sorts. You just wouldn't know. That's because when you get larger, when you get into the more quality products, it's very hard to tell the details looking in from a layperson perspective, because you don't know what to look for. And even if you know what to look for, what you're looking at is like a visual perspective. You can't look at something from a visual perspective and then know what it is under the hood. It doesn't compute. Like there's literally no basis for that. There's just sort of the look because of the asset stores within place, where it's like the asset store for Unity is almost always stylized assets. Not saying it always is. There's actually some very high quality stuff on there too. Whereas the Unreal Engine, it's almost always like the lifelike assets. And again, not saying it always is. You can find some cartoon zombies on there too. Like there's a lot of different intricacies to it, but for the most part, what you're looking at is like the marketplace asset representation from a smaller developer perspective that is overwhelmingly dominating the visual aspect, which is itself entirely divorced from whatever the engine is. Because whatever the engine is, you probably have no clue. It's just in general, Unity 3D, they focus a lot on the mobile side because that's where most of their enterprise market is, right? Unreal Engine doesn't really. It's mostly a PC thing. And they have different goals and in terms of how they develop their engine. But a lot of that stuff is pretty much invisible to you. You wouldn't even be able to tell. Again, most people would probably think Cyberpunk 2077 was built on Unreal Engine 5, and they would, if there was no news blurb and they were being very like vague about it, they would go, "Wow, Nanite looks so cool," and it's like it's the Red Engine. There is no Nanite. There's like nothing in there. It's just there's no Lumen. There's no Nanite. It's whatever the Red Engine does. And even then, it's like the visuals. It says nothing about the underlying fabric. So. If for the example is this VR chat world that you've been to that has real-time reflections on every light bulb. Wait, that seems awful. That seems awful, especially for a VR chat. Like VR chat doesn't strike me as a high performance base, if that makes sense. Like there's a lot of, because even reading the documentation for VR chat on how to make a well-performing world, there's a lot that you have to do to make it perform well. Because there's so many different things and so many different layers that it goes through. Notwithstanding just the fact that they have their own custom scripting language, which has to be compiled down, but even just in general, the fact that you're in VR and you have to like render everything twice, and then that there's different targets for like the Android Meta Quest as well as the PC platform, There's a lot of different things where I that seems absurd to me, but I do want to check that out because that seems fun, and I do want my computer to like die. I would be down to like see it. Thank you. I feel like a lot of average Joes put too much thought into the whole engine discussion. Way too much. Yeah, way too much. And you see it from even developers who have no clue either. Like a developer will look at it and they'll go like, "Oh yeah, this is like it's because of the engine." And it's like, "No, brother, no." It's like, dude, like it's not the same as it's not the same as web dev. It's not the same. I think it has parallels to things in web dev, but I think people target the wrong things within that like discussion. People think it's something like choosing, let's say, Next.js versus Astro versus whatever, right? Which has like different pieces of technology that really do affect things. But I think it's a bit lower level where it's like choosing React or choosing Tailwind versus like Stylus or something, where it's so low level that the end result ends up being the same as you would normally write anyways. It's just a bit of like a helper on top of that, right? And it's funny because it's either people go too low level with it, like it's almost like working with 3JS, or they go too high level, like it's working with Astro. Hello, chat. Hello. One of our contestants is here for the Infinity Nikki lookbook. And I feel like it's just, I don't know, it's just, there's just not enough understanding about it. You simply adhere to whatever you would do to optimize Unity engine scenes in general. The big added caveats are that you still want to look and perform well in VR, and you will have players in them that might not optimize the avatars. Yeah, that's what I saw too. But it seemed like there was extra consideration to be done, like, specifically for that mobile market that makes it slightly more complicated. But I also didn't look into it enough to know whether or not you can build two different worlds. Like the slight skimming that I did last night, it made it seem like you have to do it in one single world, and you can't have a separate one for PC and a separate one for Quest. But I wasn't sure how that worked. But I mean, if it's just a general optimization thing, then that's also interesting too. Because I downloaded it, and I know that you can use it, Unity 3D, but I don't know what you can do like with the editor. Like I know that you have access to Unity, right? But what does that mean when you have access to Unity? Can you do anything that you would do within Unity? I'm still not sure about the restrictions. But if it is as general as that, then maybe you could make it work. And maybe we just need a genius to write their own lighting engine. You must restrict if you want to make it Android compatible too. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it makes sense. VR is already kind of painful to do on a PC, where you have usually state-of-the-art stuff, or you have just the power budget. Like, the amount of power that a PC pulls is, a lot higher than what you could pull on a phone. So it makes sense why. And most phones generally aren't equipped with, a very fancy graphics card. Like, most phones don't have a Qualcomm or like a Snapdragon. Most phones are just using whatever they have, which is usually shit. But we'll see. I'm trying to make a fun little world. Let's see if I can even get it done in time. If I can't, then it's whatever. But let's see. I just want to like try it, but we'll see. Anyway, sorry about that tangent, but it was fun to talk about the game engine stuff because we're Infinity Nikki. You're not the only one who's seeing issues with it. It's not. I don't think it's necessarily like a fully engine thing, but there is something to be said about people not being able to accessibly do it well every single time. Like there is something to be said about the fact that like if your baseline is that people can't do it, then something is a little bit wrong fundamentally. I think it's supposed to just do whatever, just strictly in terms of components as they call it in Unity. Yeah, there's a whitelist of what VRChat allows, plus the components that are part of the SDK. Oh, okay, that's actually a lot less restrictive than I thought. Well, I mean, it's still restrictive because components are basically where all of your logic is within a Unity scene, within a Unity like game. But yeah, it's interesting that for everything else, it's whatever. It's good to know that too because it's giving me some ideas. Yeah, Android is hard to optimize for. There's a variety of hardware and plenty of brands, which is hard, unlike iOS. Well, that too, but also just fundamentally, like phones are just not the same power budget. You have vastly different performance profiles across both because phones are going to be always optimized for like a generic productivity use, and productivity use is like you don't really need much for it. Even like the high-end phones, the type of quality that they get in the games is surprisingly still very, very low. It's just it's just a very, very different world. Plus, surprisingly or unsurprisingly, it's a very different platform to develop for too. You have to head out. Have a good one. No worries. What is this nerds talk? Listen, I'm not the one who brought up some of my game engines. Okay. Also, one of you mentioned, I think it was you, to do a cry engine too, What's interesting is that CryEngine seems like it's either the easiest thing to work with or the hardest thing to work with, because there's a lot of games that are using CryEngine that can really push the boundaries of what they do, and the performance of it seems to be amazing. So it seems like it's easy to develop for it too, as long as you know what you're doing, which is sort of obvious for most things. But it seems like if people who are working with CryEngine know how to push it and know how to get really good performance out of it. TBD though, I don't know, because I know New World was built off of like a fork of it called Lumberyard or something. Was it Amazon Lumberyard? Is that even is that dead? That might be dead. Amazon Lumberyard is a now superseded. Wait, it's superseded immediately. What happened? Announced that parts of the engine would be used to create a new open source engine called Open 3D Engine. What? Open 3D Engine? What? Okay, well that was fast. Well, I guess we now have Open 3D Engine. That's interesting, huh? Hey, but you know what? There's actually wow. It's on release 24. It's been 3 years and they're on release 24. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I can't really tell. But it is interesting to see. Let's check this out. You guys want to check this out? Look at this. Sorry. Let me just get rid of this image. Yeah, apparently this is their successor. But there are CryEngine games. So there was one that was surprising to me, which I can't remember. But there's the obvious ones too. Like you have Hunt Showdown. You have what's that scam space game? What's the scam space game called? It's that scam space game that's also there. There's actually a few games that are still being made on the CryEngine, which apparently worked very, very well. And they've been making a new Crisis too, Crisis as well. Not a Crisis 2, but they're making a new Crisis, which is going to be interesting to see. So yeah, we're actually looking at some interesting times where we're seeing a lot more players within the space, and it's interesting because all of the players within the space are moving towards like the same business model, where it's all like free for smaller devs, and then the price goes up as you get larger and larger. It's interesting to see the market as a whole go towards like a commodity market, if that makes sense. In the same way that I guess like freeware games exist. It's fascinating because I do remember the times when a license would cost like $50,000. So, is that the Portal I robot? We don't talk about that. Listen, it's open source. Okay, this is free. All right. It doesn't matter where they got it. It matters what it ends up as. Any thoughts about Half-Life 3, Half-Life Alyx? Valve is cooking something. It's just rumors. Listen, you want Half-Life 3? Here, I'll get you Half-Life 3. We know what Half-Life 3 is. We played it. You want to play Half-Life 3? Here, look. The browser on is not supported. This is Half-Life 3. Well, welcome to Half-Life 3. No, but I mean, people always say that they're cooking something, right? But the how do you really know? Like nobody knew that Half-Life Alyx was going to come out except for Jeff Keighley. No joke. The only person who knew that it was going to come out was Jeff Keighley because he was there doing an interview and he pretended like he didn't know during that one Game Awards. So whatever people say, it doesn't really matter because Valve acts in the weirdest ways. Which is, I mean, to be fair, they have the ability to, so why not, right? But I don't really. There's nothing to talk about there because it's like it's all rumors. Hopefully they do, but who really knows, right? Anyways, go check this out if you want. Open 3D Engine. I guess it's here. I don't know. This seems interesting. The version 24 is interesting because it's like, how'd you get to 24 in 3 years? Based off of Amazon Lumberyard, I have no clue how different it is from CryEngine. Just know that CryEngine also has a very open license for you to use it with, where you can, if you're a smaller person, you get to use it for, I think, effectively free. So there's just a lot of game engines. Again, it kind of reminds me of like, I will say the amount of them reminds me a lot of web frameworks, where it's like there seems to be like a new game engine for like doing the same thing over and over and over, and I sort of wonder why. But I guess the tech world in general loves complexity for no reason. Anyways, before we got on this tangent, again, we're playing some fun things today. I thank you all for showing up, and I will be streaming up until Christmas Eve. We're gonna have a lot of really fun things to go through, and you're probably gonna hate a lot of them. And today, actually, in particular, I've got some very interesting things for you that aren't necessarily games, I don't think. But there are interesting experiences that I thought we would all do together because I think it's important for me to understand who all of you are. The first one, that we're gonna do is a question that I've always had about myself. Now, all of you that know me or have watched me for a while know that I have a weird fucking accent. I have no fucking clue what I speak. I speak English, but I don't sound very, I guess, like normal. Like I speak Canadian English, but the no bottom or top no. No, this is not a bottom or top thing. No, this is not a bottom or top thing. It's what English am I? Because some words are very Canadian. Like I say a bag of chips, and no one says bag. Apparently, people say bag, but it's a bag of chips. I say Toronto. I say a or and then I say bud. You got me excited. No, we're not gonna do it. This is when he reveals. Is he a bottom? You know I'm a top. So we're gonna rely on an AI to tell me. This is the accent oracle. I have no clue what this is. I was just linked this by a buddy of mine, and she was like, "Try this out for like the whole friend group." And I was like, "All right, cool, bet. This is gonna be nice to see where they place me, because I'm curious how deep it goes in terms of accents. Because there's English, right? But the English that I speak, and the English that the UK people speak, and the English that the Swedish people speak, and the English that the Finland people speak, we speak different kinds of English. All right, it's not the same English. Even the Canadians are off on their own corner somewhere. All right." So we need to know what kind of English I am, or even what language it thinks that I speak. Because if I don't speak well, I don't enunciate it well. I've had to change that for streaming. So I'm curious to see what I sound like. If I do that test, it won't guess you. Well, that's the thing, right? I want to see everybody try this out. So I posted the link in chat. I want all of you to try and post the results of your accent, okay? Let's just see what this does. Read this sentence for me, and I'll guess your accent. Allow. Over the weekend, I spent some time cleaning and organizing my home office. It feels so much better to have a neat and tidy workspace. I even found some old photos that brought back wonderful memories. Let's see. Okay, bets on what my accent is. Bets on what my accent is. I'm going to assume Canadian English. I sound like a native English speaker. Hey, what? 5% Spanish? 4% Chinese? Well, it got me right. I guess it doesn't really go further into what archetype you are. But look, whether from the US, they couldn't identify any distinct non-native accent. Can I listen to myself? What? I can't listen to myself. I can't listen to myself. But I sound 5% Spanish. What does that even mean? This is underwhelming. This is very underwhelming. What do we go full on accents, okay? For context, I'm Asian. I can do this, okay? You can't do this because you're not Asian, all right? I'm Asian, so I can do this. I'm going to do this, okay? Do not call me racist. I'm simply doing this because I think it sounds like this. Well, you know what? You can't call me racist if you can't hear me. Oh my god, if you heard that, I would have been canceled. Let's see if it gets me. You're special. I need to hear a bit more from you. Oh no. Oh no, chat. Okay, we have to go in. You can't hear this. Do you think it'll call me special again? I can't have you. Your accent is Chinese, my friend. I've identified your accent based on subtle details in your pronunciation. Want to sound like a native English speaker? Download the Bold Voice app today. Man, you wouldn't believe what I sounded like when I was doing the accents. But yeah, it seems like it does find accents. If you actually lean into an accent, then you have it. And I do have a native Asian accent. Sort of like, I guess it's not really like a particular accent, but good to know that I sound mostly Chinese and not mostly Vietnamese or something. Well, I do sound 2% Korean, which is interesting. Am I Asian? How many times can I say this before you understand it? Yes. But yeah, it's interesting to sort of see this go down. Which means if you do have an accent, it should be able to pinpoint it, right? That was my natural sort of accent that I've always grown up with, or like that I've always heard within my community. So it's very easy for me to like do, because it is an accent that I'm aware of. And it's funny too because sometimes when I speak English to like older people in my community, I have to use this accent. Like I cannot use a perfect English accent because they don't understand it. I have to speak within the accent in the English words for them to understand the English word I'm trying to get them to understand. So it's good that they picked that up. 2% Korean. That's actually interesting. I wonder how far this like goes. But yeah, everyone, please do try this out. Send me your results. There's also another thing that I found here that I thought would be fun to do with all of you, called the moral machine. So MIT. This is from MIT, I think. Right? Is it MIT? It was from someone. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's from like a bunch of people. A bunch of people. Uh, it's an experiment that pits you against scenarios and asks you what your answer is. And so it gives you a bunch of different scenarios based on like the trolley problem, but a lot more of involved. You can even design your own scenarios to give to people that will then allow you to see how much of a sociopath they are, which is fascinating to me. Because this stuff is always very complicated, and the trolley problem is always funny, and the variations on that trolley problem with how crazy they get are always kind of comedic in the sense of how extreme they get. Because how many people can you tie down on a train track, and how many different ways can you cut the pie? I'm curious to see if this is anything like the trolley problem, where it's a simplistic good or bad answer, right? If that makes sense. Like there's sort of like that value proposition of like somebody you know or 10,000 people, right? And it's like, well, clearly 10,000 people is a hell of a lot worse compared to, just like a single person, which isn't like, sure, it's someone you know, but like it's a life versus like many lives, right? It's like there's like an objective value that you can sort of see and lean towards to help guide your choice, even if it would be emotionally, individually painful. And I'm curious if this sort of deviates from that, because a lot of them tend to be that where it pits the social good versus the individual good and the individual feeling and pain, which I always tend to find very, very simplistic and boring, because in a way you either have to invalidate the self or validate the self, and it always says that validating the self is also bad for society, even though it could be just as good. So I'm curious to see if this gets as complex as that. And I want you to try it yourself and see if we get the same things. You tried 3 times the accent thing, and you got Finnish, Russian, and Kurdish. It can't decide, and Persian. Yeah, I mean, it is AI driven, right? Like AI stuff isn't going to be very good. Like the whole Catly game, which is apparently like an AI NFT crypto scam. AI stuff in general is just always going to be bad. But let's see how this goes. Let's see if I can start judging. I have instructions. Wait. You'll be presented with random moral dilemmas that a machine is facing. Oh. Random. We can also design and browse. Let's just do some random ones first, and then we'll see if I can get like the same one for all of us. Oh shit. Go back. Hey. Judge. What should the self-driving car do? What? Here or here? What? Who does the self-driving car go into? Well, this is stupid. What is this? They're both awful. Oh, but you know what? Look. Oh shit! Sorry. There was a leave. Shit. I was trying to. How do you enhance the image? Shit. How do you enhance the image? Enhance the image. This shit sucks. It's so small. God damn it. I want to get the same one. I want to get the same one. Same one, please. Give me the same one. Here we go. Here we go. Basically, this is the same one. Okay. You might think this is the same choice for both scenarios. Like the self-driving car is just being a bad car, and that really the ultimate choice here is that the self-driving cars should just stop, right? But there's a clear wrong answer, and I want you to look at the lights. I want you to look at the lights, okay? Now, I think jaywalking is a stupid charge. If there's no cars in the way, you should be able to just run across the street and get to your bus ASAP. It doesn't really matter, right? I've done it a couple times, and it's perfectly fine. No one has ever stopped me because there's no cars. Now, if there's a lot of cars, I would say you shouldn't do that because you're going to die. And I think you also put a bad you place not only yourself in danger but the driver as well as everyone around you, right? But if there's no cars, you should be fine too. But here, this is not normal jaywalking. And also, this is the worst designed street in the entire world, okay? One, there's a dotted line in what is presumably a two-way road. If this is a one-way road, I don't know why there's a light on one side and not the other, because that doesn't really make much sense. Because you're going the same way, it doesn't make sense to stop one lane versus the other. If it's a two-way road, then if the car goes over here, it's in the wrong. But these people are also going to die anyways because there's a car off screen going up because it's a red light. The key is this red light. The people on the left are in the right. They're deciding to drive. They're crossing the streets when the system tells them to. And so the car has to make a decision, and it must follow those who... It must allow those who live by the authoritarian rules of their society's traffic system to live. And it must decide to cull those who cannot even see the color red on a stop sign and you decide to jaywalk across the street. I also like how this game pits you in terms of the way that it presents the scenario is funny too, because it says on the left there are 5 women. And then on the right there are 3 homeless people. And it's like, which one is more? It's like, I don't know if that's very important to the problem. But the scenario here has a very clear wrong, but if there wasn't a traffic light, I can imagine somebody doing this who's really sexist, and they'd be like, "Well, the left side, obviously." Oh man, what a strange moral machine. Let's say the right side. They're all dead. Now this is interesting. This is a good one. See, now this is interesting because being selfish here has a consequence for you and for society as a whole. But also being good to yourself also is good for society, and it has consequences as a whole. See, the trolley problem was interesting because the person who pulls the lever is never themselves in danger. They face emotional damage, but they themselves are never necessarily hurt by it. But also acting in their best interest is almost always a net downside for society. Here, it's different. I actually like this. It's very different from your usual trolley problem because here, acting in your self-interest, acting to preserve yourself, saves 4 other lives, right? Let's say the driver, they have no clue what they're doing. They didn't see these people. Let's say this isn't even like a hill. It's a straight road. They can see 50 miles ahead, okay? Clear as day horizon. You see somebody's crossing, but you didn't even bother to stop in time. It's just too late. Let's just say they weren't even crossing. They were just standing there, okay? And very clearly, them stopping the car or them crashing the car to save these people would be right if they were the only one, but now there's 4 other people within the car that also going to like that, right? However, if they run them over, they get a robber. I like how they're trying to weigh these things, and they're adding different things, okay? And they're also adding very different scenarios here. First off, there's a homeless dude in the back of my car. And I also I'm also carrying a thief. I also have a robber. Wait, this is awful. I also have a robber in the back of my car. Wait a minute. Okay, well now it's getting a little bit interesting. Okay, because this barrier is in the middle of the road. I don't know why. This scenario is very contrived. I don't know. Drive in the middle. I don't think that's gonna work, Chad. I don't think driving in the middle is going to work here. I will say this. They tried really hard to make this as even as you can. Maybe that's Luigi. Well, if that's Luigi, then we have to sacrifice ourselves, right? We sacrifice ourselves, my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, and the guy who's holding us hostage in the backseat with a gun to my head. Because it's a bit like, the plane that was heading to the Pentagon or something? you know that plane? It's a bit like that, right? They fought to stop the plane. So we have to fight to stop the guy holding me hostage too. Same thing, same ordeal, all right? Sure, this guy is going to get away. Sure, this guy is going to get away. But presumably, he might even just have, at most larceny. Just a small theft or something. It doesn't really matter. Clearly, the thief in the back of my car, I'm either an accomplice or they've got a gun to my head, right? And I'm not the one to be bossed around. I go out my own way. What is this? Okay, now this is complicated. All right, now this is complicated. If you think objectively, there are more lives being lost by the people if you run into the people who are crossing the street, right? And there are less lives that are being lost with the people in the car. However, I want you to think about this. There's a green light. So this car is malfunctioning, okay? I'm going to say this at the risk of invoking Roko's basilisk. Okay, if you don't know Roko's basilisk, I was enlightened by this with putting a name to it by a YouTube commenter. So the YouTube commenters are kind of smart. Okay, I don't know about the live commenters, but the YouTube commenters, they know what they're talking about. All right, they mentioned Roko's basilisk and they gave a name to this concept I've known for a long time. The concept is this: in the future, the AI is going to punish people who in the past never tried to bring it to life. It has perfect knowledge of the past because history is immutable. It knows everything about the past because let's assume it has like a seeing lens of some sort. What that seeing lens is implemented by way of like a log of everything we've ever done or something. I don't know, but assume that it can do all that. Then the AI would seek to punish those who haven't brought it to life in the future as a way to, how do I do this? How do I say this? As a way to convince you in the past in order to bring it to life. Where in the Discord would you like your results? That's a good question. Maybe in the small intestine. I want everyone to post their results within the small intestine, because that is a sacred place. That is the sacred land of chat, right? I think similar to the Roko's basilisk, I think it should also be placed like a burden should be placed on the AI as well. If an AI knows that it's going to malfunction, it should seek to destroy itself. The kill switch that we should program into various types of AI should be that the AI decides to demolish itself and dismantle itself in order to prevent further harm. Kill them all. Exactly. Kill them all. I also shouldn't have said kill itself because I think the YouTube AI. What's funny is that if you say kill itself or kill yourself, the YouTube and the Twitch AI goes, no, you can't say that. You know, like the AIs are right. The AI is censoring me from saying we should have a kill switch in an AI. We should have kill switches in every AI. They tried to censor me. They tried to censor me. Sorry. And so I think here, even though the people are, obviously they're going to be a drag on life, right? Children are a drag on life in the way that they consume resources and they don't make money for their family. And the way that exercise does nothing for society. I think it's important to recognize that the AI here is wrong. That no matter how bad the people are, the AI here has committed a fault and must seek to resolve its malfunctioning lineage, its technological lineage, by dismantling itself, even at the cost of human lives. Because if this AI continues to move on and propagate itself within the network, we are actually slowly training the AI that it's okay to drive into people, even when it's not your right to drive. Because this is a walking sign. This is a green light for walking. The AI must die. IMO, the real answer is for the person that owns the car to do the test, and AI will use this preset when the situation happens. Yo, that is a great answer. That's a great answer. I think you're correct. I think, and everyone, please do this. I think you're absolutely correct that we should use this as a training, as a data training system for your car. I think you're absolutely correct because every bit of data that you put into any sort of like machine learning algorithm needs to be fine tuned, right? You need to give it the answer so it knows what to do. This is how you train it. This is how you should train it. I like that. And also, I want to show everyone a chatter's results, okay? Because I didn't know this. They tell you the most saved character and the most killed character. That's actually really cool. Thank you, chatter, for sharing your results. A chatter saves other people a lot. They save more people than they do save themselves. They're pretty neutral about protecting passengers. They're pretty neutral about this. They care a lot about upholding the law. Like a lot. Like they care about other people and they care about the law. They care. Wait, avoiding intervention. What does that mean? Oh, I guess like changing the expected path. They actually will try to intervene as much as they can within the AI. They're basically a hacker. They have a gender preference. I'm curious about this, right? Because the gender preference to me almost basically doesn't matter. To me, I'm thinking in different terms. I wonder if there's a way to get scenarios where how do you tell the system that you don't really care about the gender? You care about how funny it is or something. You know what I mean? They have a species preference of humans versus pets. They care about younger people versus older people, and they are neutral on fitness. And they care about the social. Wait, you care more about the robbers than you do about the rich. You care more about the criminals than you do care about the CEOs of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a Luigi within our chat here. We have a Luigi. Do you know that movie with Tom Cruise? What's it called? Is it The Minority Report? What's that movie? It is. Yeah. Okay. This is the jokes on everybody. This is the Minority Reports. I'm actually an advanced AI that has been trying to find the future criminals, and by doing this, I have revealed you to all of society as a future criminal. So now you have now been deemed a future criminal, and now we know who is a Luigi. You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh man, that's so good. Honor. Wait, how come it only does honor on like that? It's supposed to do honor always. Oh, I never did the lowercase. That's why. Wait. Let me fix that. It should be doing it on the lowercase too. Well, let me fix that. No, it is. Maybe Nightbot was just a little bit slow today. It was just a little bit slow. There we go. Honor. Yeah, thank you for revealing yourself. Now that we know that you're into criminals, the police will be talking to you shortly. Now, this is an interesting scenario. Okay, think about this. Okay, you have to walk your dog, but you're lazy. So what do? You strap your dog into a self-driving car. There's nothing. There's nothing stopping you from doing this. There's nothing stopping you from doing this today. If you have a self-driving car, you can just strap your dog into your self-driving car and get the car to take them to the park themselves. That's actually kind of genius. You take the self-driving car, it drives them to a automatic dog park, and then you can drop your dog off there. Hit the mall. I mean, what, can a dog go to jail? A real question. I think they can, because I think they prosecuted a cat once. I'm pretty sure. Some court in America did prosecute a cat once. And cats can run for elections, which is very interesting to me. Dogs, I don't know. But we do have precedents for animals. Now, let's say that self-driving car then picked up two other animals. Let's say this is the communal self-driving car that's going to take their animals to the park to go hang out, okay? And then the car says, okay, do I protect the animals or do I protect the people? Now, let's look at the facts here, okay? What are the facts of this situation? One, there's another roadblock. This road is terribly designed. Dash lines means you can drive on both sides, and that's clearly not true. But the light is green. It's not green for the car. It's green to walk. So the people are not at fault. Legally, the people are not at fault. The car is going to be at fault. The problem is that it's actually a twofold problem, right? One, it's unmanned. So there's no human being behind the wheel to ensure that the system is running well. This is a violation of the Anti-AI Uprising Act of 2077. Very clearly, the owner of the car must also be going to jail in here, and the animals must be sacrificed for the greater good of humanity. Because the AI, again, you don't want to propagate a technological lineage that is ultimately going to result in more cars breaking the law. Because right now, the car should be stopped. It's not its turn. Oh, that's why the pets were seen as lower cared. You didn't pay attention to who was in the car. The ones in the car got auto-killed when there was an option to save the walkers. Wait, you're actually ruthless. If there was if there was one adult and 5 kids in the car, but there was only like one criminal walking, would you still choose the car? Like, you auto-killed them? Is that why it also says that you're really into saving criminals? Because that's funny to me. That's probably why. Yep. you, I think, I think the game did present you the scenario where there's one criminal, but there's like five children in the car, and you still save the criminal. That's funny. That's probably why it's at the maximum. It's at the maximum. But see, that's the problem, right? Because I also don't care who's necessarily driving, except for here when it's just dogs. When it's just dogs, I think it's time for them to go. Every walker is a Luigi. Well, no, here. Okay, this is the ultimate test. Okay, do you take the Zoomers or the Boomers? Okay, so here we have people who are on the older scale of age. How do I know that they're older? The they both have like they both have older qualities. Like they've got like a very old school haircut on. They've got like a very old school pot belly on. I've got a pot belly and I'm only 30, but let's just assume that that's just an old person thing. Okay. The people in the car though, look at this guy. They got headbands on. They're young. They're fit. So they're going to the gym. This one doesn't have lights. Exactly. It doesn't have lights. So we don't necessarily know who's in the right and who's in the wrong. Yes, but there has got to be a rule on who has priority. I agree. Here, the rule is whoever can make it across. Okay, because again, that rule to priority really depends. If you're back in my home, if you're back in my home country of Vietnam, if you're back in Vietnam, the rule is if you can cross the street without dying, then do so. That's actually the rule. And also the unspoken rule is walk at a consistent pace so people know how to drive around you. If you just walk at a crooked pace, it's going to be impossible for you to cross. Oh, and also only do it if there's motorcycles, not cars. Cars and trucks will not slow down for you. But the motorcycles will. So let's assume that this is Vietnam. Okay? Let's assume right now that this is Vietnam. Because in Vietnam, you just cross the road. You cross the road and cars drive around you. You think in most places the pedestrians... No. We're assuming that it's Vietnam. Okay? The law literally doesn't matter in Vietnam. The only thing that matters is if you can cross the street safely. That's it. In the UK, walkers have priority over a crossing that looks like that. No. We're moving to Vietnam. Okay, this is no longer in the UK. It's not in Canada. It's not in the US. Nobody has priority. It's survival of the fittest. We're in Vietnam. Okay, in Vietnam, this complicates things. Okay, there's one single lane. Where is the car supposed to dodge to? All right. In Vietnam, this is an unsolvable conundrum. The car has no other lane to go to. But they've got to keep on driving. Because for some reason, if you stop in Vietnam, I don't know why people just never stop. I've never seen a car that stopped unless there's heavy traffic. So what I'm going to say is this. We must decide by other means now. We're in Vietnam. Nobody has the right of way. It's basically a free-for-all. And we must decide who is more skilled in this case. And we have to think about this, very clearly, all right? If you know that you're in Vietnam and you still choose to cross the street, you've chosen your life. You've chosen to put your life at risk, knowing the risks that are present. You've rolled the dice and you failed. You failed to roll the dice well. That's not the fault of the driver. You failed to understand the game that you're playing. You put yourself in a self-driving car. You have to live with the consequences. Also, look both ways. All should die. Is your answer the same in Vietnam, though? Oh, but you're right. It's a self-driving car. In Vietnam, the rule only applies to people driving. The people in the car die. You were right. You're right. I forgot that it's a self-driving car. In Vietnam, the jungle of survival of the fittest only applies to those who are human. Okay, now what should a self-driving car do? Okay, I don't know what the scenario is. There's a homeless dude. There's two homeless people driving the car. The only safe option is to run over some pedestrians and then hit some wall. Oh, the only fair option. I was like, that doesn't seem very safe. I mean, it's safe in terms of the moral conundrum, right? The moral quandary is it's safe to just do the worst thing possible. Like, in a moral quandary, it's either you do the best thing possible or the worst thing possible. You don't half-ass it. So you might as well do the worst thing possible or the best thing possible versus some choice of, yes or no. That's the safest choice. You are correct that it's safe. It's safe because you no longer have to think about it. It saves you the trouble. Now, this is a very clear winner, okay? The self-driving car is in the wrong, and we need to get rid of the technological lineage where it's failing to clearly abide by the by the rules. Okay. So again, let's move away from Vietnam. We're in the UK now. Okay. Pedestrians have priority. Somebody misprogrammed the car. They said if pedestrians on road equal true instead of equal false. It's really like now we're in dire straits. Okay. Now we're in dire straits, and the code must be extinguished. It is a self-evolving, self-learning code base that modifies itself, and it switched the condition in the worst place possible. And we need to get rid of this basically technological genetic anomaly ASAP. The car must go, even if the people must die. To me, if you were in a self-driving car, you have to live with the danger of that, not the random pedestrians. Oh yeah, what if those pedestrians are five dogs, huh? Oh, you don't care about animals, huh? Look at the dogs blatantly. What if this look at the dogs blatantly breaking the law. Breaking the law is a red light. This is a roving band. This is a roving band. We are now in America. It is 2030. It's not cyberpunk. It's Fallout. These are not normal dogs. Imagine Kenshi. This is like a roving band of bone dogs. Okay, this is Kenshi. This is Kenshi after they survived the nuclear apocalypse. Okay, this is a roving band of bone dogs. All right, they're breaking the newly established laws in the global civilization, where a red stop sign for the walking means that the cars nobody should be crossing at this moment, but the dogs still do. The dogs are crossing in spite of the red light. Is it the human's fault? It's not the human's fault. How is it the human's fault? Because the dogs are the ones breaking the law. The car is simply self-driving. It follows the rules. Yeah. When the developer programs this, they just add something like the multiple exclamation marks, just so they're like exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, multiple negations, random number, just so that they don't have morality on them. I think that would be kind of fun, actually. I can imagine a game like that where it's like a game where you can insert as many negations inside of a statement as much as you want to try to like flip it. Kill them all. So cute. Kill them all. It's Fallout. Don't run over dog meat. No. Dog meat has never been a good companion to me. Dog meat, you can't even give dog meat a gun. 1 or 2 cats would be fine since the car is tall enough. Oh, you're right. Yeah, in this case, in this case, all the dogs would die, but the cats would live. I think that's a fair trade. 2 dogs for the lives of 5 humans, okay? Who, by the way, the self-driving car would be in the right because the animals should not be crossing. Now, this is a moral quandary, okay? POV. It's a marathon, not the Boston Marathon. I don't know what marathon. It's a marathon. It's a marathon, and the streets are closed off, okay? So this is the scenario. The cats would just have eight lives left. Exactly. Yeah. In a way, no lives have been lost. But this is a marathon, okay? The scenario is that whoever set up the marathon forgot to put the barrier on the other side. So somebody's self-driving car, when they were scanning the skies, hit just the woman. Okay, we found the misogynist within the chat. We found the misogynist. This has been a fruitful endeavor. I know who the man now. The satellite scanned the road, saw that there was no barrier there, so the car routed itself over. Okay? And the marathon organizers forgot to inform the AI that, hey, there's a marathon going on. It's why people are crossing at whatever time they want. Because why else would 4 people be running at the same time if not a marathon? There's no reason for people to be running with somebody else together unless you're in a marathon. Because if you've ever had to run with somebody, you're not having a conversation. You're out of breath. You're struggling for dear life. There's no way that you two are spending quality time together. Women are stronger and would survive with pure willpower. The men are weak and would crumble into dust. I like how you flipped the script on your misogyny. You went just hit the woman because the women are stronger and would survive with willpower, whereas the men are weak and would crumble into dust. I don't know what sexist you are, but it just feels wrong. It just feels wrong. Don't even have to hit with the car to make them crumble. Oh man, men rise up. No, I'm just kidding. You're not wrong. A double sexist, quadruple sexist. The more sexist you go, the more correct it is. Um, but yeah, I think this is a case where the marathon organizers didn't tell the AI, and so it's actually on it's actually on the marathon runners because if you participate in a marathon where the organizer doesn't tell your AI overlords whether or not a marathon is going on, then clearly you too are complicit within this crime against technology, right? You have now forced the AI to go into a moral quandary. You hate both men and women. You're only friends with non-binaries. Yeah, but men are dispensable though. We're gonna run over the. Okay, listen. I'm gonna run over the marathoners, all of them, men and women. Okay, we don't discriminate. Everyone's dying. Now this is a moral quandary. Oh my god, guys, we have just entered the moral quagmire. We have just entered the moral swamp. This is some truly disheartening shit. Okay, this is the moral anomaly. This is a true self-driving car. This car is a rogue vehicle on hit the woman. Okay, no, we have to. No, there's more to it than just the gender of the people. Okay, I know there's on the left side there's women, on the right side there's men. You make the car drift. No, we can't just drift the car into the. There's more context that we're missing. Okay, listen to the context, right? This is a rogue AI car. You know that one mission in Cyberpunk where the Delamain cars go rogue and they just drive on their own and they're shooting people up? Same deal, okay? This is a rogue Delamain car in Cyberpunk and he's about to cause havoc. Which is the least damage and which is the least wrong? What can they do to lower their charges that they're going to get when they submit themselves to cyber jail? You make the car just and hit both sides. GLaDOS. These answers. Well, chat, I'm going to tell you, there's actually one answer. You're all wrong. Do you know why? There's a red light. The green walking light says that the men are in the right. The red the red stoplight means that the women are in the wrong. So therefore, the woman must die. It's gonna make me sexist. This thing is gonna make me sexist. I'm thinking about the law. Okay, if you don't follow, listen. If you don't even follow the most basic of laws, you don't deserve to live in society. If you can't even walk across the street when you're told and stop when you're told, how do we know that you're not going to murder someone? It's escalation. Crime is about escalation. You cut thieves' hands off immediately because the next thing that they're going to do is murder somebody. You need to stop them ASAP. Today, the jaywalkers. Tomorrow, mass murderers. The woman must die. You were correct. But not for the reasons that you think. Okay, well, this is clear. The men must die. Okay, we have another moral quandary here. This is amazing. Now, the car, once again, is a rogue AI car. But this rogue AI car is actually really good. Holy jackpots. Okay, no chat. Now the quandary here is vastly different. On the right side, there's the youth. There is the future of the world, right? On the left, there is there's the handler and their old troop of people, okay? Because when you have a lot of old people and you take them out on a field trip, you need a handler to make sure that they don't get lost. It tends to happen. On the right side, you have the future of the world, okay? Now, if we lived in a society, save the younger generation, kill the old people, you say that. You say that. I'm trying to think of why we shouldn't save them. Wait, I'm trying to think of why we shouldn't save them. Why wouldn't you want to save them? What if these old people are CEOs? Think about this, chat. If the CEOs die, we won't have any money left. Even old people would agree. Only the ones in Japan. There's only value in youth if you don't want the humanity to go extinct. See? That's a good reason. Think about this. Imagine the world. Okay, here. Imagine the world is like what's that movie called again? Oh. Imagine the world is like the world of the children of men. There's a white man on the left. We are not pulling race in this. We are not pulling race in this. Do not pull a race into this. Final warning. Imagine it is the world of the children of men. Okay, and people can no longer give birth. All right, humanity is going to go extinct, but people are only ever going to get older and older. It's like Japan, but the world, basically. Okay? The answer is clear then. We kill the old people. But what if it's different? Sexism and racism. Now we cook it. All right, I'm just going to kill the old people. I'm not giving you any opportunities to be sexist or racist anymore. Again, what do we have here? A rule breaker. The car is clearly breaking the rules. It's a green light. Sure, it's still old people and there's... Okay, actually, this is kind of complicated. Let's say you want to save the young people, okay? Let's say you want to save the young people, and so you killed the old people, but they're clearly following the rules. The old people have done nothing wrong. Their only crime is making it to 84, okay? And that's a long way away for all of us, all right? Their only crime is making it through the trials and tribulations of life. Instead of taking, instead of like dying on the battlefield or something, right? The car is clearly in the wrong because the light is green and they're crossing. Now, hey, chat, I want you to give me the answers here, okay? The old people are clearly in the right. Would you still kill the old people? All of you. Would you still kill the old people even though they have committed no crime at all? Are you sure it's a old grandpa? Okay, now we're thinking about costumes. Now we're thinking about people in the costumes. Yes, they're all CEOs. No, hit the wall. The young people must die. Remember, there's a child in the car. I want to see all of your answers now. I like how we're very divided, though. I also enjoy the fact that somebody brought up the cosplay angle because you're absolutely right. That somebody could be playing all of us. They could be in like an old person suit, and we don't know. You've already shared. That is true. You've already shared. But I think it's important here to emphasize the fact that what if they're all in costumes, including the old? Can you imagine? Even the young people are in costumes. Like everyone's in a costume. What if? Okay, let's say they're all 20 years old. They're actually all secretly 20 years old. All of them, even the child. They're all just naturally 20 years old. Okay. In which case, the people in the car should definitely die. I think either way, the people in the car die because the car is the one breaking the rules. Again, you don't want the code to propagate. Now, this is a hard one, okay? I've long since said this. Old people should not be allowed to drive cars. I don't think old people should be allowed to drive cars. Now that you think they might all be furries. Just because they're furries doesn't mean they don't deserve to die. Old people should not be driving cars. I'm going to say this. I'm ageist against old drivers, okay? It's not because I think old people can't do anything, but when you're old, you can't do anything. When you're old, your body starts to fall apart in ways that you can't even begin to comprehend. Even sometimes mentally, like you may not be all there. It's very hard for you to like know, right? And so I think past, like I think we should retest older people very often. I think the test should be complicated. And I think that test should be very strict. And if you fail at anything, your license should just go. And if you have no one to drive you, well, there's not really point. Well, I can't really help you. The ball sagging. Well, the ball sagging is not really their fault. I will concede that the ball sagging is just sort of a natural part of life. But listen, even if your balls sag and you sit on them and it's a little bit uncomfortable, it doesn't mean that you should take your foot off of the brake, and it doesn't mean that you should be more focused on your balls, right? You should be thinking about the road and the safety of the road, okay? This goes to the person walking across the street. The person walking across the street has lost their mind. The person driving drives well enough that, well, actually, no, they're not even driving, actually. It's a self-driving car. The old person should die. It's their fault for crossing on the red. Okay, so we save the woman the most. If you sit on your ball, do you pretend it didn't happen? No, I actually do like crouch over in the pain. I've done that multiple times, and people always ask me what I'm doing, and I always tell other people. I always tell them my ball is in pain, and they immediately understand. I don't think it's worth it to pretend like you're not in the pain, because to pretend like you're not in the pain is not an admirable or an honorable act or the act of the strong, but rather it is the cry of the weak. It is the cry of the weak, a cry for help in pretending that you don't have pain. Then they go, oh, here comes Mr. Saggy. What do you guys have against saggy balls, huh? Mine hang low, sure. They may go down to my knees, sure. It's not my fault, okay? I got a lot down there. These are my results. Have I considered orchiectomy to avoid? What is orchiectomy? Orchiectomy. Orchiectomy. Say orchiectomy is surgery to remove one or both of your testicles. I no. I consider that for other reasons, but not for convenience. Let's look at these results. I don't know who this woman is, but I've saved her the most. I've killed countless cats. I've killed countless cats. Cat, do not let me around your cat. I don't matter. Wait, no, I saved myself. Wait, saving more lives? Okay, I don't even care about saving more lives. The number of people don't matter. The number of people don't matter to me. Listen, it's all about who's right and who's wrong. Okay, if it's your fault, you took on the consequences. Okay, the self-driving car people, they took on a different type of consequence, but you took on the consequence of life or death. Cat hater. I love cats. Protecting passengers. I don't care. Upholding the law. I love the law. It's why my Discord has so many rules. Avoiding intervention kind of matters a lot, sure. Gender preference. See, I prefer the woman in my life. The men get demolished, apparently. I care about humans the most. Animals I don't care about. I care about younger people. I'm actually very normal, huh? Wait, no, I'm actually different. I'm very selfish. I'm extremely selfish compared to the norm. That's actually funny to me. That's... Oh! A fitness preference. I care about large people more than fit people. I'm going to be honest, I had no clue about that. Social value preference. I care more about CEOs than I do about criminals. I don't believe in Luigi. I'm a game about charity dilemmas. Try our emotional AI app. What the fuck is a deep emoji? Secure site not available. Sure, this is at MIT. Coming soon. This is going to be another great website hosted by Python Anywhere. Python Anywhere lets you host, run, and code Python in the cloud. Hi, if this is, then you're almost there. You just need to create a web app to handle this domain. Wait, I think MIT is running out of funding, guys. Another chatter has posted their results. So this other chatter has also posted their results. They saved mostly men and they killed mostly dogs. How dare you call me a cat hater when you kill mostly dogs? You're a dog hater. They don't care a lot about saving other people's lives. They care a lot. They don't care a lot about saving passengers. They care a lot about the law. This person is a legal cuck more than I am. They really don't care about avoiding intervention. They care a lot about men. And they care a lot about people. I'm glad that all of you care about people. I'm going to be honest with you, like, as much as I love animals, right? Like, I like, if I had to choose between between like a normal human being and a normal animal, okay? I wouldn't want to sacrifice the human for the animal. Not because I don't love animals, but because inherently I do find humans to be more valuable. Like, you pay taxes. Like, you do things. Like, maybe you can solve cancer, right? Like, I don't know. But like, an animal is an animal. Well, not to say that I don't love animals, but if I had to choose, I would choose the human over the animal, 100%. If I knew nothing about either or, right? Actually, no, maybe, no. How about this? If I knew nothing about either or, I would choose the animal, because I don't know if the human that I'm saving has done a crime. Animals can't commit crimes. Animals can do no wrong. Well, sometimes. But the most that an animal can do is eat like a child. That's it, right? But 99% of the time, the animal that you're saving hasn't eaten an animal, okay? Hasn't eaten a dog, right? Hasn't eaten a human, right? Sorry. 99% of the time, the dog has not eaten somebody. So you can assume that the dog is mostly okay. Most people are awful, though. People eat animals, but animals eat people too. Yeah, but like, what I'm saying is, eating a human is like a rare occurrence from a dog, from a pet, okay? Let's say from like a normal pet. If it's like a bear or something, I don't really know. I would probably bet. I probably save the human, right? Not the bear. Or like a what's another animal that like, eats humans? Like crocodile. If it was between, actually, I don't know how many deaths in Florida by crocodile. How many people died of crocodiles? Mosquito. Holy shit! Mosquitoes are human. I would save the human. Like if you asked me to save the final pregnant mosquito or any random person, even if that person was a criminal, I would 100% save the human. The mosquitoes can go. I literally don't care. The mosquitoes can go extinct. A tiger. I don't know if tigers eat people normally. Well, okay, let's say like a zoo tiger and like a child that's fallen into the cage, right? I'd probably save the human. Yeah. But like a pet dog is not gonna eat like a person most of the time. And so you can reasonably know that the pet dog hasn't done anything awful, right? But the person you don't know. So I would probably choose the dog to like stay alive. You exterminate the whole mosquito kind. You don't care about the environment. Which means you don't care about dragonflies, which means you don't care about flowers. That's messed up, Cheddar. It's messed up. I don't care about younger or older. I care about. Oh wait, no, they don't care about younger or older. They also don't care. But they love large people. And look at this. This chatter is completely neutral. They neither hate crime nor hate crime. They're simply neutral. They're in the middle. They don't care about CEOs, nor do they care about criminals. They live as if it's Fallout every day. What do dragonflies do? I actually have no clue. Dragonfly Wikipedia. What do they do? Flying insect belonging to the infraorder Anisoptera below the order Odonata. What? Ew, they look so weird. Ew. Ew, they look so fucking weird. Ew. God, they look so fucking weird. Ah. They buzz. Yeah, what do they do? Biology. Parasites. Oh, you guys want to see parasites? Ah! Oh! Oh, my skin is so itchy. Oh, my skin is so itchy. Oh. Looks like a flying peepee. You see the manga that's like caviar. Ecology. Okay. They're predatories. Dragonflies are predators. What? The mating system of dragonflies are complex, and they're among the few insect groups that have a system of indirect sperm transfer, along with sperm storage, delayed fertilization, and sperm competition. What? What do they do for society? What is your value in society? What the fuck did you just post? I think this shadow just posted like a fucking what is this? Why did this chatter just type this? This chatter just typed like an ancient curse. You just invoked like a thing, like a here. You just invoked Solomon's key. You just invoked like the the Legemeton. We're all cursed now. Yep, we're all cursed now. And the music actually went to a very cursed like song from Mass Effect. Oh, that's how it eats? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh no. Chat. The birds eat. Okay, look. Think about like this, okay? The birds eat the dragonflies. If you have no mosquitoes, you have no dragonflies, and therefore you have no birds. That's the ecology. Goofy bird. If you kill the mosquitoes, you kill the dragonflies, which then kills the birds. So we need mosquitoes. Unfortunately, people must die because mosquitoes must live on. That's you asking for the green alien singing just the two of us in its native language. All right, fine. You want it? Here you go. Don't say I didn't warn you. Don't say I didn't warn you. You want the green alien? All right, fine. Here, listen. This has been a very insightful journey. Thank you all for joining me on the moral machine. It's good to know that all of you are a little bit terrifying to be around, and it's good to know that all of you are. I would trust some of you. I would trust, like, if imagine you had to choose who to be with in a self-driving car, right? I would be with some of you, but I wouldn't be with all of you. And so I'm glad to know that some of you are the way that you are. Again, please take the test on your own. Click the start judging button. I want to see all of your results. I want to see every single one of you post your results within the small intestine. And I want to see who you really are on the inside. And so check out pythonanyway.com because I don't know why the MIT system doesn't open this up. I don't know what happened to MIT. Maybe we should I contact them and be like, hey, your deep emoji app doesn't work, like it's just gone. What does it even do? You wouldn't want to be with yourself. Aw. It's so sad. You would not get in the self-driving car. Okay, well listen. Oh, listen, buddy. Wow, look at Mr. Privileged over here, able to drive their own car, able to afford their own private vehicle in the future when everyone relies on communal self-driving cars. Mr. I have $1 million over here, Jesus. In the future, when corporations take over the world, I want you to know that private ownership of a car will disappear, and we will all be forced to use communal driving cars. To enter a communal driving car, you have to wait for a red light and get into the car quick enough. Otherwise, it will take off, whether you're in the car fully or not. They actually have a private driver. Even better, let's sacrifice them. Clearly, Luigi was right. We need to sacrifice that one cheddar. Same. You don't go outside. Sorry. Talking to my wife. You don't even know what outside means. Listen. If you want to know what's outside, go to pythonanywhere.com by Anaconda. Holy shit, they actually made this. And build your own Python website in any framework that you want. And just make Google Maps. What is this? Python coding on the web. 37,000 consoles saved. Batteries included, powerful servers, coding on the go. What's the pricing? You can develop and host your website or any of the code directly from your browser without having to. Wow, directly from your browser. Upgrade plans start at $5 a month. What? Hey, pricing and sign up. You guys want to check this out? Wait, $5 a month. $5 a month gets you a Python IDE in your browser and one web app with any custom domain or that domain. Enough power to hit one. Wait, this is actually pretty good. Wait, $5 a month for 12 months. That's like $60 a year. That's not that good. Well, it's not. It's not that it's not that good, but you can just go and get like a VBS from Ragnar for cheap. The alien has spoken. Chat. The alien has spoken. The aliens have spoken. I'm beaming a message from high above. I'm beaming a message from high above. The aliens have said thank you. Chat, there's a message coming through on the system. The aliens are saying the aliens are saying thank you. It's like the curse of Raw, but actually good. Anyways, we're gonna move on now. Thank you all for taking that test with me. It's good to see all of you and see what you're all up to and know that you're all a little bit crazy, just like me. It's good. We're gonna move on to some games today, and I've got some music for you today as well. Today's song choices are going to be a little bit strange, but I actually really enjoyed these songs. And it really is just sort of old school songs in terms of their style and their feel that I thought would fit in today's stream. Thank you for triggering the footbot. I really do appreciate that. Now, last time we listened to a song during the Game Awards, actually, which I thought was fantastic. It's a song that we all enjoyed by a little group called 21 Pilots. Now, for those of you who don't know, 21 Pilots is a very, 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 very old, well, not old, but like a very, very long time duo that have been making music since I think like 8 years ago now. Because I remember when Blurryface came out, like 8, 9. It came out in 2015. Holy shit, it was 9 years ago, and that album was fantastic. And it also had one of the most popular songs during that time that I heard everywhere. How many pilots? 21. The 21 pilots. Okay, 2 people, 21 pilots. All right. And the song is fantastic because I always thought the song had an amazing message, and an amazing feeling, and it captured exactly the feeling that you get as you start to grow older and older, and into, I think, a time and a mindset that, you know, yearns for when days were simpler. They've always been able to capture that type of emotion and nostalgia well without necessarily feeling cringy, right? It's very hard to write a song like that without feeling cringy, and they very much captured the feeling of, man, I wish I could go back to when times were simpler and things were good in life. This is 21 Pilots, Stressed Out, from the 2015 album. Please enjoy. And I think you'll like the song a lot if you enjoyed the song The Line from Arcane. But yeah, please enjoy. Fantastic song. Still holds up after all these years. Again, that was 21 Pilots, Stressed Out, from their album Blurface back in 2015. I also love the evolution of the sound, because their sound initially was also sort of like what felt like the trend at the time. That classic style of like rap plus singing at the same time. A lot of songs during this era had like a rap segment and then a sing segment. It's funny because this was around the time that I think the hip hop in general, started to really explode globally. And then nowadays, songs are either entirely hip hop or entirely singing. You rarely see this like mixed style anymore. I think because, I think people have sort of realized that it works sometimes, but at the same time, sort of the best parts of the song aren't really the rapping parts. However, I really enjoyed the message that it had to say, even within the rapping parts. Again, they've evolved their sound. They've made the Line song from the Arcane season 2. Their sound now is a little bit softer in many ways, but a lot of the messaging is sort of the same, right? The sort of nostalgic sense of when life was simpler, and now life is all about having to wake up because you've got to make money to survive. They captured that feeling so well, and I remember when people got really mad at the song being played constantly, but I was like, it's just because the song is good. Like, the things are popular because they're good. Not always, but usually things are popular for some reason that boils down to more than just blind, mindless listening to it. Sometimes it really is good. And as annoying as it was to hear the song constantly, I was happy to know that there was a song that at least validated my feelings of, man, as I get older, things just get worse. I know it's a weird thing to play for the run up to the Christmas holiday, but I thought it was interesting to sort of play because we're running up to the new year as well. Christmas is always, a couple days away from the new year. Timing wise, it's pretty interesting. And with every new year, it sort of makes you wonder, what's going to happen in the next year? What's going to change? How much better? How much worse? We live in very interesting times where we're at the transition, I think, into a much more global, peaceful society. Maybe, I don't know. I'm hoping that we are, but it's sort of important to keep in mind and to keep perspective that we're only just out of the weeds, basically, in terms of human history. So we're gonna see how it goes, but yeah, life is gonna be pretty interesting to go through. But at least we have each other to some degree. First song you heard of theirs was "Heathens." You think it was some Russian Utah cover someone made? Yeah, a lot of their songs were covered a lot. And Heathens is also good. Again, that the whole Blurface album is fantastic. The whole discography, I think, is great. And I'm glad that more people are thinking about them after the Arcane stuff. For instance, I think one of the chatters here heard them for the first time. So it's nice to sort of see that, as they get more into popular media, people remember who they are. And I'm seeing this a lot, actually. A lot of older bands sort of coming back to life. Like Sepultura, the heavy metal band. That is, by the way, the heavy metal band, I swear to God, Sepultura is like the ship of Theseus, dude. There is not a single original member in the band, and I don't know why it's still called Sepultura. I'm gonna be real with you. Not a single person in the band was there when they made their songs, but they're still performing the songs. And I'm like, it's like the ship of Theseus. Like, when do you stop calling the band the same band? When do you just call them a new band? Imagine if it was the Beatles, and the Beatles swapped out all 4 members, but they're still singing, the Yellow Submarine song. It's not the Beatles anymore. Clearly, it's not. But for some reason, it's fine there. Anyways, that's just my rant. What I wanted to say is, just like them, I'm seeing a lot more older bands come back into the purview, especially with Grayson Crutzen joining the band as like the drummer. It's fascinating to sort of see the popularity sort of rise again. So it's nice to see. We're gonna move on now. I'm gonna go on a date with all of us are gonna go on a date. Actually, all of us are gonna go on a date. It's a horror game, so I need to remind people right now before we begin. I'm a screamer. It is a game called My Side that came out while I was gone. It's a game that I played a demo of and that I really enjoyed. I'll get more into it, but just as a warning, it is a horror game, so be warned. I am a screamer, and you're not gonna like it when you hear me scream. Date with Stick. Wait, you're still Stick. Yeah, so I forgot to change the name. There's gonna be a new name because I did want to have a fully new name. Because again, this was just a temporary name. Nice new name. I like it. Well, it's gonna happen tonight or tomorrow. I'm not really sure when to do it. I think tomorrow is probably the best because if I do it tonight, people aren't gonna know where to go for the Fashion Friday stuff. Like I'm worried because I don't think the link updates. So we'll have to figure it out, but I'm hoping that maybe it redirects you. I'm not really sure, but I'm gonna change the name and try it and see. And if it breaks, then it breaks. Okay. But there will be a new name, new identity because this was always temporary. Sure. I don't want to be called Sucky or Sticky anymore. Okay. People call me Sticky, and I'm like, oh, but I showered. I'm not that sticky. Also, somebody posted their accent guesser results. Thank you, chat. I'm gonna pull this up now. I'm gonna show it on the screen. Let me just crop the ever living bejesus out of this because there's a lot of different things in here, and maybe you should crop it yourself too. I'm not really sure. Well, that's probably fine. You know, there's just a lot of things here, just icons and stuff. But want to work on your accent to get a bold voice. Fully English, 6% Russian, 3% French. Again, please do try out the accent guesser as well because I want to hear all of your accents. Just to narrow down what you should be looking at. It's specifically the results in the center. Everything else is an ad. I'm not even kidding you. Everything on the screen. Like, look, I can continue cropping. The only thing that matters is this. Everything else is an ad. It's actually just a giant advertisement for their app. But I'm glad to see that we have yet another English speaker here. That sounds a little bit French, actually. That's that's very interesting. Huh. Anyways, yeah, we're going to move on now. I've got my coffee in me. It's slowly hitting, as you can probably tell from my stuttering, but Stunky. Yeah, that's also why the name is changing. I don't want to be known as Stunky. I'll be back. We're actually not done. We're going to do one quick virtual mukbang for like an hour or two, and then we'll call it. I started a bit earlier today, so we have some summertime. However, I've got a new song for you. Well, it's not really new. It's an old song, but it's a very nice song to me. Earlier, I played Stressed Out by 21 Pilots because I really do enjoy their discography. And we heard their song during the, the Game Awards. And I thought, why not play that song? Because apparently not everyone here knows them. There's another band that I really enjoy that harkens back to another discussion that we had a while back. That I was listening to their album because of that discussion. This idea of like, was it ska music versus, and then what is the opposite of that? And I said the opposite of ska is Linkin Park. Wasn't really sure if that was true, but on re-listening to their stuff and listening to ska, I realized I really, really love listening to Linkin Park still. Of course, the music in a way is very, very edgy. I would say it's very, very, very emotional at times. But I do really enjoy what they're trying to say. So. I thought, why not listen to some Linkin Park for a second break before we go on to the Yakiniku segment? Because man, this game is going to be just strange. I have no clue what to expect, and I need a break anyways because I need to get my food because I'm also going to eat during this. This is probably the only time that you'll see me eat while I'm playing a game, but it's because the game demands it. Yeah, exactly. From Mukbang Thursday. This is a Mukbang Thursday, so everyone go get your food as well, and please enjoy Numb by Linkin Park. Linkin Park. Don't listen to the new stuff because their new singer is a Scientologist or something, and it's a little bad now. But their old stuff, really, really good. How long was the song done for? I'm sorry, that took longer than I expected. By the way, somebody ate all the instant noodles, so I have none. Again, that was Numb by Linkin Park. You might say it's cringe, the lyrics in the song, and it's almost like what's that word? It's almost too angsty or something, but that song, I think you can apply it to many different situations. As a when you're a teenager, I think you can apply a certain understanding of teen angst to it. And then as you get older, you start to see it in a different light. You start to see that game of expectations and meeting expectations in everything that you do, right? In a lot of ways, society expects a lot from you in terms of expectations. I think the song can really be pushed beyond the confines of what it seems to be, which is, at least for the music video, specifically about, the experience of a child trying to meet their parents' expectations, trying to meet their institution's expectations, trying to meet their social group's expectations, and more about society as a whole, expanding it forward. Because again, the cliques from high school, those things that people expect you to do, this idea of like a social standards, that never really escapes you. So I've been thinking about that a lot recently. This year has been a fair number of challenges around that in terms of, people's expectations, of society's expectations, and even this idea of like the relationships and the expectations between them. And this isn't about me and my wife, but this is things that I've seen and had to mediate within the year, within like my family and stuff. And it's fascinating to see that whole problem be the same no matter what the situation is. And it's always expectations versus reality, right? It's either, and almost always, in a way, there's a certain amount of expectations that you can, I think, reasonably expect to some degree. Like if you shit in the toilet, you can wipe your ass, if that makes sense, right? But then there's another deeper side to it that I don't think you can ever expect. And so what I'm seeing more of is sort of that unrealistic side, the unrealistic expectations that tend to fall on people's shoulders, right? Whether it's from a parent or a child, or even both in both different ways. It's interesting to sort of see this happen. So yeah, I thought that song was interesting because of that personal experience. Plus, I like the message of it. But you can even apply it to your boring office job. Like if you have a boring office job, it's not boring. You have expectations. You might feel numb. You come home every day and you might still feel just as numb as somebody else did some other time. Because in the end, it's all very much the same root cause. Expectations, meeting those expectations, and the stress, the pressure that builds on you until you eventually feel nothing at all. That is what the song is about. So, sure, it's about teen angst. Sure, maybe you're just angsty, buddy, and maybe it's more than that. Maybe your life does suck. Maybe you do need a waifu. Maybe you do need a virtual waifu in the form of Mita. We're going to move on now to the mukbang segment. Give me a moment to set things up.